Good evening, viewers. You're watching GW News Recap. I'm your anchor, Azin Jamir, bringing to you the top stories of the week. Let's have a look at the headlines first. The simmering leadership crisis within the Dimapur Municipal Council was resolved after senior NPF leaders intervened following a no-confidence motion moved against Chairperson Hoketo Yaptomi by 12 councillors led by Deputy Chairperson Imlinaro S. Izong. Amid rising cases of African swine fever in Nagaland, the state government has intensified surveillance and containment efforts, prompting several districts to impose restrictions on the import, transport and sale of pigs and pork products. Petrol and diesel prices were increased by up to 91 paise per litre on May 23, the third increase in less than 10 days. At least 24 people killed in Pakistan, including personnel, and over 100 injured as a shuttle train was blown up in Balochistan's Quetta this morning. And now the news in details. The simmering leadership crisis within the Dimapur Municipal Council was resolved after senior NPF leaders intervened following a no-confidence motion moved against Chairperson Hoketo Yaptomi by 12 councillors led by Deputy Chairperson Imlinaro S. Izong. Following a series of discussions and intervention by senior party leaders, the Chairperson and Deputy Chairperson of TMC issued a joint reconciliatory statement announcing that all differences and misunderstandings had been resolved in the larger interests of party unity and public service. A joint statement issued by DMC Chairperson Hoketo Yaptomi and Deputy Chairperson Imlinaro on behalf of the elected NBF councillors of the TMC stated that following the initiative of the NBF party leadership, they had taken an unconditional decision to reconcile the differences and misunderstandings in the greater interests of party unity and their commitment to serve the people of Dimapur city. They appreciated the intervention of the party under the leadership of NBF President and Chief Minister Dr. Nipirio and said they had accepted the guidance for unity, reconciliation and oneness. They affirmed their commitment to serve the public and uphold the mandate entrusted to them. Having resolved the differences, they reiterated their commitment to ensure good governance, accountability and transparency in the functioning of the TMC. Stating that all members had reconciled and agreed to work together as one team, they informed that there was no longer any need to conduct a proposed trust vote scheduled for May 22 and that the concerned authorities had been officially informed to call it off. They also appealed to all sections of the public and stakeholders to extend support and solidarity towards the all-round development of Dimapur city. The two TMC leaders also met Advisor for Urban Development and Municipal Affairs, Zalerio. Amid rising cases of African swine fever in Nagaland, the state government has intensified surveillance and containment efforts, prompting several districts to impose restrictions on the import, transport and sale of pigs and pork products. According to an official statement, the Directorate of Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Services is closely monitoring the situation through district veterinary officers and field staff who are engaged in the surveillance containment measures, awareness drives, sample collection and enforcement of biosecurity protocols. In Mon district, authorities have temporarily banned pork sales and prohibited the import, export and transportation of live pigs until further orders. In Dimapur district, infected and surveillance zones have been identified after ASF positive cases were detected among pigs in Signal Ankami village. Restrictions have been imposed on the movement, slaughter and transportation of pigs, pork and related products within the affected areas. Mokokchung district authorities have advised residents to avoid buying and consuming pork in affected areas under Tuli subdivision where outbreaks were confirmed in Chongtia and Kangsunyamsin villages and the Shitikulak ward of Tuli town. Farmers and pig rearers have also been advised to maintain strict hygiene and biosecurity measures. The Directorate cautioned against disposing of dead pigs in rivers, streams, forests or open public spaces, warning that improper disposal could aggravate the outbreak. It also urged people to avoid panic and refrain from circulating unverified information while requesting the only official updates issued by the department be shared. The Directorate thanked district administrations and veterinary personnel, including doctors, field assistants and mobile veterinary units for their efforts on the ground and reaffirmed its commitment to protecting the livestock sector and the livelihoods of pig farmers across the state. Petrol and diesel prices were increased by up to 91 paise per litre on May 23, the third increase in less than 10 days. Petrol prices has been increased by 87 paise and diesel rates have gone up by 91 paise. This is the third increase in rates since May 15, when state-owned oil companies started passing on the elevated energy prices arising from the West Asia conflict in a calibrated manner. Prices were hiked by ₹3 per litre on May 15, followed by 90 paise increase on May 19. All rates have gone up by almost ₹5 per litre. One of the key reasons behind the hike is a sharp rise in global energy prices following the outbreak of a conflict in West Asia. Global oil prices spiked to more than $120 per barrel before easing to around $100 to $105 a barrel following the near closure and severe disruption of the Strait of Hormuz triggered by the US-Israeli conflict with Iran. Prices have remained frozen since April 2022 except for a one-off reduction of ₹2 per litre each on the petrol and diesel in March 2024 ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. Hamza Burhan, believed to be one of the masterminds behind the 2019 Pulwama terror attack that claimed the lives of over 40 CRPF personnel, was killed when unknown gunmen opened fire on him in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Burhan, alias Arjumat Kulzar Dar, alias Doctor, a commander of the Al-Badr terror group, was designated as a terrorist by India in April 2022 for his involvement in a series of terror acts in Jammu and Kashmir. He had been living undercover as a teacher in a POK following the Pulwama attack. According to police, Burhan, a principal of the private college in Kotra, Muzaffarabad, was targeted when he came out of his college. The attackers fired multiple shots at close range, they said. The police also told that Burhan sustained 3 bullets to the head. He was taken to a nearby hospital in critical condition where he was put on a ventilator. The police also claimed to have arrested a suspect and recovered the weapon used in the attack. An eyewitness said that after committing the crime, the suspect was fleeing on a motorcycle when local men overpowered him and handed him over to the police. Dar, born in 1999, hailed from Ratnibora, Pulwama in Jammu and Kashmir. He went to Pakistan on valid documents where he joined the Al-Badr terror group. According to the Union Home Ministry, Dar was an active terrorist and commander of Al-Badr. Since going to Pakistan, Dar had been motivating youth to join Al-Badr and funding the outfit's terror activities. At least 24 people killed in Pakistan, including personnel, and over 100 injured as a shuttle train was blown up in Balochistan's Quetta this morning. The train had travelled a short distance after picking up passengers from Quetta military cantonment when it became the target of a massive suicide vehicle-borne attack near Chaman Batak. The Baloch Liberation Army claimed responsibility for the attack, claiming the assault specifically targeted Pakistani army personnel traveling from the train. The train was reportedly carrying over 300 Pakistani military personnel when the explosion hit, detailing one of its 3 bogies. The vehicle-borne blast caused the train to derail and triggered a fire. At least 1 bogie of the train is completely destroyed, while nearby houses and vehicles also suffered heavy damage in the explosion that occurred on the railway track. Authorities put the confirmed death toll at around 24, with more than 50 people wounded. Many of them rushed to hospitals in Quetta for emergency medical treatment. Provincial officials said army servicemen were among those killed. The blast shattered windows and glass panels of nearby buildings and damaged at least 10 parked vehicles in the vicinity. Several of the injured were seen carried away on stretchers as security and rescue teams work at the site following the explosion. An emergency was declared in government hospitals across Quetta, and additional doctors and medical staff were summoned to cope with the influx of casualties. At least 90 people were killed in a gas explosion at a coal mine in China's northern province of Shanxi, the country's deadliest mining accident since at least 2009. The gas explosion occurred on May 22 at the Lushanyu coal mine in Qinyuan County, with 247 workers on duty. Underground rescue operations were ongoing and the cause of the accident was under investigation. According to the local emergency management authority in Qinyuan, President Xi Jinping called for authorities to spare no effort in treating the injured and conducting search and rescue operations while considering a thorough investigation into the cause of the accident and strict accountability in accordance with the law. According to Xinhua, China has significantly reduced coal mine fatalities often caused by gas explosions or flooding since the early 2000s through more stringent regulations and safer practices. In 2009, a coal and gas outburst in the Heilongjiang province killed 108 people and injured 133. Executives of the company responsible for the mine have been detained. Well, that's it for this week's news recap, and for more news like this, you stay connected to Global Window.